Welcome to Brain Blast, the award-winning podcast that blows your mind with science, history, and pure goofiness. I am your host, Jordan.
And I am Alex, ready to blast some brains with awesome facts. So Jordan, what are we investigating today? Dinosaurs? Black holes? A volcano made of slime?
Even better, Alex. Today, we are traveling back in time to 1932 to discuss a real-life war, but not a war against humans. Oh no, a war against birds.
Wait, birds? Like an army of angry pigeons? Did they poop on the president's car?
Nope. We are talking about the Great Emu War of Australia. And spoiler alert, Alex, the birds won.
The birds won? How do you lose a war to something that literally has bird brains?
That is exactly what we are going to find out on today's episode of Brain Blast. All right, let us set the scene. It's 1932 in Western Australia. A bunch of farmers have planted massive fields of delicious golden wheat.
Wheat, the stuff they make pancakes out of. I'm listening.
Exactly. But it was a tough time. The Great Depression was happening, so money was tight. And just when the wheat was ready, a terrifying, hungry enemy appeared on the horizon. 20,000 of them, to be exact.
20,000 what? Mutated locusts?
20,000 emus.
Emus? What exactly is an emu? Is it like a big chicken?
Oh, it is way scarier than a big chicken. Imagine a giant fluff ball on two scaly legs standing 6 feet tall. That's taller than my dad. They cannot fly, but they can run up to 30 miles per hour.
Whoa, a 6-foot-tall, non-flying speed demon? That sounds like a feathery velociraptor.
Pretty much. And these 20,000 emus were thirsty and hungry. They marched right into the farms, crashed through the fences like giant bowling balls, and started gobbling up all the wheat.
Oh no, the pancake supplies were in danger. What did the farmers do?
The farmers were desperate. They actually called the Australian government and said, "Send in the military." So the Minister of Defense sent Major G.P.W. Meredith and a couple of soldiers armed with Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammo.
Oh boy, the military versus a bunch of birds. This is going to be over in 5 minutes.
That's what the military thought, but emus are biology's perfect dodging machines. When the soldiers tried to fire, the emus didn't just stand there. They scattered in every direction, running in unpredictable zigzags.
Like trying to catch a greased pig at a carnival.
Exactly. Major Meredith even said the emus were like tanks. Their thick feathers somehow acted like armor, and they were just too fast. At one point, the soldiers mounted a gun on the back of a truck to chase them.
A high-speed chase, did it work?
Nope. The ground was so bumpy that the truck shook like crazy. The soldier couldn't even aim, and the emus just outran the truck.
The military got outdriven by a bird.
It gets better. The emus supposedly formed guerrilla tactics. They split into small groups, and witnesses said each group had a leader emu who kept watch while the others ate. If they saw soldiers, the leader gave a signal, and they all dashed away. After a few weeks of chasing birds and looking completely ridiculous, the Australian military had only managed to stop a tiny fraction of the emus. They had wasted thousands of rounds of ammo. Major Meredith finally threw his hands up in defeat.
Womp womp. So the military just quit?
They packed up and went home. The news headlines actually read that the emus had won the war. The emus stayed, ate their fill, and eventually wandered off when they were ready.
That is the greatest story I have ever heard. It proves that sometimes nature is just too weird and bouncy to be beaten by human technology.
Spot on, Alex. The Great Emu War is a hilarious reminder of how wild biology can be. Those 30-mile-per-hour zigzagging giant birds totally outsmarted us.
Note to self, never challenge a 6-foot bird to a game of tug. You will lose.
Words to live by. That's all for this episode of Brain Blast. Stay curious, stay goofy, and always respect the emus.
Bye, everyone.